Hey guys, Kevin Downey from Kevin M. Downey. Thanks so much for taking the time today. Really appreciate it. This video, I want to talk about how my clients are starting to use AI. I'm going to walk through our rate card first really quick and show you the program, the AI quarterback program. But after going through general training, whether we're talking about just an owner or an entire team, I want to walk through some of the ways in which coming out of that training, my clients are starting to use AI in their business. Practical application of AI that is actually saving them time. And in one case, it's saving them as much as 10 to 15 hours a week per person. There was one company that I worked with that really went all in on it, and their staff is just knocking it out of the park. They got on a call with me last week, and it's just amazing what they've been able to accomplish since going through training. So I want to walk through the program really quick. It's actually very, very simple. So I run candidate or clients I work with, it's called the AI quarterback program. It's called Quick Start. We have general AI training that I do that's just a $350 flat fee, very simple. It comes with, about 90 minutes of training, and then I do a video for everybody's reference going forward. And then after that, anything that you want to do in terms of project, you want me to do work or my team to do work, custom work for you, no problem. We can do it. We can do project build outs, implementation, and training. We custom quote all of that stuff based on a certain number of hours and a rate. But anyway, so general AI training, though, is only a couple hours in general. Sometimes I'm working with doing more than that, working with their team one-on-one for their specific use case, and that has been really, really effective. But the general training is usually for an owner and part of a team or the team to really just go over the basic overview, and we work off of Claude predominantly, right? But the application is the same whether you get into ChatGPT, you want to look at Gemini or whatever. I'm a Claude fan. I believe Anthropic's got the best product on the market. But anyway, so what I want to do is I want to walk through how after we go through training, and here's a screenshot of Claude, and I walk through settings for Claude, and then obviously there's a number of different, here's a look at a custom process, by the way, that custom build for a client. But prompt engineering, this is a Claude help guide. We actually talk about this, best practices, and then there's this great training documentation on top of what I train them on, because I obviously give them very specific shortcuts, but there's some great documentation from Anthropic on Claude. It's just amazing, just absolutely amazing. But let's talk about how clients are using AI, and I'm really referring to this more, not necessarily connecting outside things on the front end of AI training. We're not talking about connecting Claude to another piece of software, for example, right? Generally, that's a more advanced thing. And certainly a lot of times projects that a client would want us to do. Sometimes they take it on themselves, right? And they want to go through and figure it out. But most of how the application for AI on the front end for a company when they're new to it is all about interfacing with Claude, let's say, and using specific files or links or anything you can upload into it, images, whatever it is. And it can be multiple things, right? It obviously can go extraordinarily deep. And it's something that, again, you don't need to connect another service or software to it in order to make use of about, I would say, 70 to 75% of all the use in U.S. companies right now is just Claude within itself and files or links or whatever, but you're not connecting it to an external software piece or software. Okay, so let's talk about the things where clients are using it. So first, sales and prospecting, drafting outbound emails. I mean, copywriting is one of the first things that I actually learned how to do with Claude, right? I do tons of email over the years for clients, over 100 million emails, so I know it works. So I wanted to experiment with Claude and see what it would do. And then I worked on training it and giving it reasons to put in its memory bank as to why did we want to do certain things from a structure and strategy standpoint, and even got into a bit of a debate with Claude about it. And it was very, very interesting. But one thing Claude does do for me from a copywriting standpoint, it's always giving me phrases and thought processes and ways of positioning copy within something, whether we're doing direct response email or we're doing content, in a way that I wouldn't have thought of, right? It can do it so fast, right? The power, its baseline power is so amazing. Research and call preparation on a company, on a person, their LinkedIn profile. Put it all together, right? Hey, here's the 5 executives at this company, right? On the team. Here's their website. Give me a report. Give me a synthesized report, right? So call preparation. CRM data entry and call summaries. Unbelievable what it can do there. I mean, and obviously you can then you're connecting in this case to the CRM, but like just the power of it is amazing. Content and marketing and content creation, social media content, where we're talking written content, headlines, subject lines, obviously images, videos, all kinds of different things. Deep content, blog posts, newsletters, email campaigns, obviously just straight copywriting. But the research that it can do to give you a full-blown piece of content to publish is amazing. Ad copy and product descriptions. Excellent at that. I would say that. And the one thing that is not on here that I want to mention is that owners use it as a thought partner. I would say that's probably one of the first things, especially in smaller businesses. Owners will come to me and we go through the training. The first thing they do with Claude is end up making it a thought partner. Right, they're bouncing things off of Claude. Talking about, for example, I've got a demo sample here on market research, right? Market analysis. So doing a market analysis on something, giving it something to chew on. Hey, here's my list of owners by employee count. This is what we do. Here's our program. Here's our offering. Here's our cold email. What is it? Who do you think the targeted audience is for that? Right, that's something Claude does very, very well. Right, so thought process for owners is a big thing. I don't think I have that in this document, but that's a big one. But marketing and content creation, probably number one, I would say, along with the sales stuff that has to do with content or with cold email, I would say is the biggest thing that companies start with right away. Is like the first thing, their first real introduction, and that is the owner using Claude as a thought partner, strategy. Operations and administration, meeting summaries and action items, document drafting and editing. Oh my gosh, having it do some SOP, like basic documentation. It just blow you away on what it can do. Again, the more you give it, the more you're going to get out of it, right? And that's really where the power comes into play. Email triage and response drafting, process automation and workflow. All of that stuff is just huge. Customer service and support. This kind of goes to the sales angle because this is another big one. Is AI-powered chat, FAQ handling, ticket categorization and routing. This you obviously have to connect to another platform, let's say, but that's a big one these days. Okay, hiring and people management, job post drafting. We've got a job posting or advertisement that we built years ago and have refined over time. And now you can take that, and my team, they don't even have to write from scratch. They can give the company the job description and, hey, here's our template. I want you to rewrite this based on this template. Bam, it bangs it out in less than a minute, right? Very, very powerful. And then obviously my recruiting team has to edit that a little bit, like they might tweak a couple things, but it's basically done, right? Onboarding and training material. I had Claude initially in the early stages of me playing with it, doing all kinds of knowledge-based stuff for me, right? Where I was putting in all kinds of content based on audio recordings that I then had transcribed, right? And then take those transcriptions and then had to build an entire knowledge base off those transcriptions, right? Organize the material, put it into sections, headlines, subheads, subcategories, all that stuff. Onboarding and training material, another big one in companies that are starting to use AI. Internal communication drafting, certainly important when you want to be really careful on what you say, right? And give Claude some feedback, some data, and say, hey, here's my audience. This is what I'm dealing with. This is the situation. This is what I need to say. How would you framework this? Does it, and it does it so fast, right? It's instantaneous. Finance and data analysis. You can give it all kinds of CSVs and reporting and have it assemble synthesized reports. You can have it do all kinds of research for you. First thing I did when I learned it, I took a cold list and I said, okay, I want you to tell me everybody in this list, every company, how many companies actually initially, and ultimately every company that has EDDM as a keyword in their keyword base in this cold list. And it ran it in seconds, and I got that list, right? And then I was able to get it to earmark all of those companies specifically for my rep. Okay, data analysis and reporting, forecasting and cash flow. And this document, if you want a copy of it, is great. This has got a real example for a company on the data side. It's really, really good distribution company example, okay? And so where do you start, right? Like that's it. Like you want to dig in, we jump into the program, right? Just the training, just again, it's 350 flat fee. It's just a 60 to 90 minute program. We work with what you're looking for, right? We train on some basic stuff. If you don't have anything coming in, don't worry about it. We'll start from scratch. We'll start from the bare bones basics of what AI is, right? It's a thinking partner. It does what the real definition of what makes it different from software. Software has to follow rules, general software, right? AI specifically makes judgments, but it makes judgments based on history and process and learning and all those kinds of things. But it has such a huge baseline to work from, but ultimately it makes judgments. To a lot of us, we'd say it looks like it's thinking. Could say that, but technically when you ask it, it says, no, I don't think, I make judgments, right? And that's how you really define the difference between AI and traditional software, which is following very specific rules. If A, then B. If X, then Y, right? So that, I think, is the thing. And I did have one conversation. This was a week or two ago. I'll leave you with this. If you're not a believer yet, or you're a massive skeptic on AI, especially if, this gal was probably about my age, maybe a little bit older, and she was a very old school business professional, great owner of a business in the print space. And she was sharp. I mean, smart, very successful, been around a long, long time. And her first comment to me is, I've been around for this many years. I will never, ever utilize AI or incorporate AI into my business. And I said, okay, well, I was a non-believer a year ago, and I can tell you it's this side of the internet in my career is the most powerful and effective thing that you can do in your business. I mean, the internet obviously changed everything because it's so basic, right? The immediate connection with everything. But AI is literally, I think that's number 2, 1A, 1B, I mean. It's game changing. The things you can do with it, the efficiencies that you can get out of people, how you can make your people better and more powerful. They can learn. They learn how to do things. They learn how to communicate with Claude, for example, or any AI, general AI, and then it makes it easier for them to incorporate specific AI solutions, which are coming, and agentic then becomes easier in the future, all that kind of stuff. And it's a necessary step for companies, because if you don't do it, you're getting left behind by the competition. When you do it, you want your people to grab onto it and take hold of it, right? And again, the more they dig in, the more they put into it, the more they get out of it, it makes it easier. It's exponential growth with it and effectiveness. And that is what you're looking for in your team. You're looking for them to use it in ways that help them do their jobs better, more effectively, more efficiently. We don't want them to stop working. We want them to work at a higher level with AI as a thought partner. And that's really what it's doing and what it does for companies. Okay. So if you want to jump on a call, you want to dig into it. Oops, that's the rate card. Jump on our website, kevinmdowney.com. Click schedule a call. We'll do a quick call, see what your needs are on a basic level, and we'll go from there. We can do general AI training. If you have a lot of experience with AI and you have a specific problem you're trying to solve, and you're looking for a solution, we can obviously put a quote together for you, or a proposal to solve that problem for you, or jump in and do the training to teach one or more individuals in your company how to do it. Okay. All right. Appreciate you being here. Best of luck in business in 26, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.